G'day, athletes. Welcome to the Kilted Athlete Podcast and welcome to the first episode for 2026. I'm your host, Keith, the Kiltman Robinson. I hope you guys all had a fantastic new year and enjoyed yourself responsibly, of course, but had a great time. I spent New Year's Eve in Melbourne, actually. I my wife and I spent the night in a hotel in Melbourne in South Bank. We didn't really plan to have like an amazing view. We just kind of like snagged this view of the fireworks. So it was great. We saw the fireworks in Melbourne from our hotel window, and while we were watching the fireworks in Sydney on the TV, so we kind of had like double fireworks happening there. Yeah, so it was kind of a great time. We spent a couple of days down in Melbourne. Got back yesterday, or late last night, and back into it now. Um, yeah, so like I said, this is the first episode for 2026. It's a bit exciting because when I label the episode now, I get to put season two on the label. 2025 was the first my first year of recording this podcast, so I'm into my second year now. Just reflecting a bit back into last year in the podcast. So I started this podcast on like the 23rd of February 2025. That was my first podcast release date. I had actually been planning for probably a couple of months before, looking into doing a podcast and um, kind of um, researching a bit and yeah, working at ways of doing it. And eventually, I just I guess most of the advice I looked at, people would just say just do it. Your first step um, is probably the biggest hurdle getting started. So I got started, and yeah, 21st of February 2025, my first podcast was released with the title "Make It Happen," which I did. I made it happen. I was a little bit nervous. The nerves probably haven't gone away, but I'm getting a bit better at it. I kind of rushed through that episode. It took me less than 17 minutes to get through that episode. I think I was just trying to rush through it as quickly as I could and get it over and done with. But yeah, it's actually still my most listened to episode. So yeah, thank you to everyone that listened to it. If you haven't heard it, go back, check out my episode one, Make It Happen. I might actually redo that one at some time in the future and um, kind of like reboot, I guess, do a remake of it and see if a bit more practice of recording podcasts might make that episode a little bit um, not better, but more enhanced, or yeah, probably a bit less rushed and a bit, this not this bloke trying to get it over and done with as quickly as possible, but go into a bit more detail and yeah, so that's probably something I might look at this year is yeah, doing a re-release of that episode. So over the year in 2025, I did 44 full episodes, um, and quite a few like little bonus episodes, which I call midweek chats. I don't know how many of them I did, but 44 full episodes I did. I had four guests on that episode. So my first guest was um, back in March. I had Craig and Simon, two blokes from Gyra that I run with regularly. We did the Tamworth Trailblazer trail run, and we recorded that podcast on a bench, like after we'd done the trail run. So they were my first two guests for the episode for the podcast, and then also had Kevin Chilvers, the run director of the Runfest series of running events. I had him back in August, and then my most recent episode, which came out on Boxing Day, was with Bennett Powell. So yeah, I've had four guests on my podcast, and I'm always on the lookout for more special guests. So if you want to come on my podcast and talk about something, or if you know someone suitable, please get in touch, because yeah, I'm always keen to get more guests on my podcast. Those episodes actually go quite well. The ones with special guests. I guess people like the variety of listening to other people instead of just me waffling on. I really want to thank all you guys for listening to these episodes. Um, it's kind of well, it is what keeps me going. If I guess if no one listened to any of my episodes, the motivation to continuing to record episodes probably wouldn't be there as much. Um, but yeah, it's surprising people that are listening. Um, Recently, I've had a few people that have like contacted me and said, "Hey, I've been listening to your podcast," and it's quite I guess refreshing and inspiring to realise that people that you kind of didn't really think were listening and have contacted you and said, "Hey, I listened to your podcast, every week. I look forward to it coming out. I listen to it on the way to work or or while I'm going for a run or whatever." So yeah, it's quite inspiring, and you guys reaching out to me and let me know that helps me to helps me to like keep going. And another interesting little bit of information is there's actually people from 15 different countries listening to my podcast. So thank you to everyone out there. But I would actually be interested in hearing from some of the people in the various countries that are listening. Um, of course, the majority, like 63% or so, are from Australia, but the other 70, 77, hang on, I've stuffed up the maths here. The other like 37% or so are from 14 other countries. So that's yeah, quite amazing to learn about. So like I said, 2025 was a pretty big year for the podcast. It was the the first time I'd ever done a podcast. So yeah, it was very, very big for me, and I'm very appreciative for all you guys that out of all the millions of podcasts out there to listen to, you've clicked on this one and chosen to listen to this one. So thank you for you know you've only got so much time in a day to um to listen to a podcast, so you really need to, to choose your podcast wisely, I guess. So I'm very, very honoured that you've chosen my podcast to listen to. I'm looking forward to doing a lot more episodes this year. So, and I'm always looking for ideas and inspiration. So I love to hear from you guys more. Um, so you can comment on the podcast. You can email me at kiltmanfitness@gmail.com. Also, I'm available on Facebook and Instagram as the Kilted Athlete Podcast. And I know I say this every episode, but I really do enjoy hearing from listeners. And if you have any ideas, questions, yeah, please come forward with them, um, because I want to make these podcast episodes more interesting for you guys. So I want to talk about what you guys would like to hear about. Now, I also want to give a huge shout out to my wife, Jo. Now, I haven't mentioned this on this podcast before, but early last year, Jo broke her ankle, and she was actually like non-weight bearing for 3 months. She's in a wheelchair. In fact, when we went to Auckland in April, she was actually in a wheelchair there, which made it quite a challenge. Getting around on the Borden aircraft and yeah, it's been quite a challenging year for her. But look, she's done an amazing job, like to get back on her feet again and walking around and getting mobile again after that. Yeah, she's done an amazing job. She's an inspiration. Um, just just what she does is truly amazing, and to think that less than 12 months ago she couldn't weight bear at all, and now she's walking around Melbourne. A couple of days ago we were going for walks around Melbourne. um she's back into a gym routine, like going to the gym, going for walks. Yeah, truly an amazing, what she set her mind to. And like she's been like determined to to recover and get back to like walking and get back to the gym and get back to being able to do stuff. Um, so yeah, big shout out to my wife Jo. Um, I haven't kind of mentioned this on this podcast before, but yeah, look, I'm very inspired by what she's done last year. So moving on to 2026, um, and I'm kind of showing my age a bit because I keep having to pull myself up and stop myself from saying 2016. Um, so it's a bit of a worry. 2026. So what I've got coming up 2026. So first week in March is the Runfest Port Macquarie, which I'll be doing once again. I'll be doing the treble, the half marathon, followed by the 10K, followed by the 5K. That will be my 10th year in a row that I've done that event. It's definitely like a unique event, that that requires, I guess, as well as physical stamina. It requires a lot of mental uh, fortitude, I guess, because once you finish one race, you've got to back up and go to the next one. Um, and it's kind of hard to believe that this is the 10th year I've done this. It doesn't seem that long ago that I did my very first treble. That was actually 2016. So this year will be the 10th time I've done that madness. And I'm in good company. There's two other people that have done all 10 trebles. So there's an honour board that's um, got a list of all the trebles that people have done. All the people have done all the trebles, and yeah, there's three people up the top that have done 9, and I'm sure the other two that have done all 9 will be backing up and doing the 10th, because there's no way they're going to want to drop off that leaderboard. So yes, look, I'm into that training phase. Once again, I've got I've got to get the distance back in my legs. So I've got that to work on over the next 2 months. as well as kind of the resilience. And my pronunciation isn't very good this morning. The resilience of being able to, kind of back up after you finished one run to go on for the next. So yeah, I've got that to focus on over the next 2 months, and then after that, I'll probably start looking towards more trail runs to do, especially ones that I haven't done before. I'm kind of leaning more towards the trail runs these days. They're kind of you get to see a bit different scenery. Every trail run's different, and yeah, it's kind of and trail runs are a little bit of an equalizer as well. Um, that you get different kinds of terrain, and every there's a lot of variation in from day to day. You might have a lot of rain there, and your trails wet. You might have you know it's been dry and drought and trails dry. Um, might have some trees down, and you're suddenly climbing over tree trunks and things like that. So yeah, it's trail run. I'm finding trail runs kind of a bit more of a challenge and a bit more I kind I guess kind of interesting because there's a lot of variation even from this on the same trail. And aside from running, I'm always on the lookout for unique events to kind of participate in. Something that's a bit different, maybe a bit of a challenge. So, well, all events are a challenge, but something maybe that I haven't done before, haven't done for quite a while before. So, things like obstacle courses, strongman competitions, things like that. I'm always kind of on the lookout for unique things to have a crack at. So anyway, guys, that's me for this first episode of 2026. I'd love to hear what you guys have got planned for 2026. Whether you're going to start a new um, start training for a new athletic event, or whether you have some goal to achieve in 2026. Um, whether it's athletic, whether it's something different. You might want to learn bagpipes. Give that a crack, or whatever it is you're planning to achieve in 2026. I'd love to hear. So pop in the comments, or shoot me an email, a Facebook message, something like that. Um, yeah, let me know. And look, don't forget to reach out if you've got any questions, any like ideas for podcast episodes. Let me know. The more suggestions, the more ideas, the better, guys. And look, once again, if you haven't already subscribed to this podcast, please hit that subscribe button now, because it makes my numbers go up. It looks really well. I don't know if it looks good, but I kind of like looking at it like you've got a new subscriber. It's all those things like really help me to like find the inspiration and kind of the discipline to because knowing that you guys are listening and subscribing and waiting for my new episode, um, that's what kind of instills the discipline in me to get that episode recorded and get it out there. So thanks, guys. Thanks for being consistent over the year. Thank you for your comments, your feedback, um, even kind of like the feedback that I've had a couple of people message me saying, "Hey, the last episode you did was um, there were these noises in the background and stuff like that." So even feedback like that's good, because that kind of made me realise that a brand new microphone I got and used in that episode was needed a few adjustments and stuff. So even a little feedback like that is much appreciated. But thanks again, guys. Thank you for a great 2025. Looking forward to an awesome 2026. Have a great day, guys. And yep, I'm off to hit the gym. Talk to you later. Bye.